Hi, my name is Elizabeth Blosfield. I'm the Deputy Editor for Carrier Management, and I'm here at ITC in Las Vegas talking to insurers about the conference's theme, Wonderland of Possibilities, and what they see ahead for the future of insurance. You've spoken a lot about how fighting AI fraud with more AI isn't the answer because it creates an arms race. So how is Clearspeed doing things differently, and what do you see as some of the solutions for fighting fraud?
Yeah, there's a lot of great technologies leveraging AI to improve workflows and obviously fight fraud. The challenge with AI is that it is behavior, right? So people show up as not a person, an individual. They show up as a holistic kind of modeled persona that might not reflect they're actually a fraudster. So there's a lot of false positives and a lot of false negatives. There's also weaponization of AI against these AI tools. And so the sophisticated fraudsters are sophisticated. The companies are using sophisticated technology that becomes an arms race, right, about AI or DI. But what Clearspeed does differently, we counter-revolutionary. We're actually not using the AI in that traditional sense. We're a deterministic model. We provide a one-to-one assessment of risk to each individual. So what we're doing is providing an in-the-moment data point here that says who can we trust and who needs to go through a normal process. And then that allows your AI and your other fraud ecosystems to work tighter, better, to identify those sophisticated fraudsters and kind of save time and money.
Yeah, this is really interesting to me. And I know you sent some info about your voice technology. Can you talk about how that works and how it's serving customers?
Yeah, there's tens of thousands of pieces of information in speech. It's a rich data set to be able to get everything from human emotion, sentiment analysis, identity. It's a lot that's happening with voice. Voice is a fascinating field. What we've done is we've isolated a discrete subset of vocal characteristics that are known to be associated universally with risk. What that allows us to do is take automated questionnaires in any language to any client-defined question and run people through a rapid survey or questionnaire to these questions, and we provide a data point that says who can be trusted and who needs to go through a normal process. There's three benefits to these data points. The first is we're giving you a data point you could get elsewhere in the market, but is expensive or labor-intensive. Think of underwriting life insurance. Are you a smoker? Someone draws fluids, it's invasive, it's expensive. Instead, just trust the Clearspeed data point, underwrite that policy if that person is clear. If they are alerted for follow-up, then they go through the normal process, the drug test, etc. So it's never a determinant. But the second thing that we do is providing a data point that doesn't exist. So AI requires patterns to make sense of what's happening. We don't. That one-to-one assessment gives you a green, yellow, or red, and it allows you to increase your action rate. It allows you to focus your resources where risk wouldn't be identified, and the customer experience goes up because we're rapidly trusting people through the infrastructure, and by injecting that trust into the infrastructure, the benefit to the customer is increased customer satisfaction, faster payment, and everyone wins.
Yeah, everyone wins. That's so important. And what are some of the challenges that you've seen with traditional fraud detection methods, and how are you looking to solve for those as well?
Traditional fraud detection, when you enable a human, right, who ultimately has to make a decision of is there fraud, is there not, are we going to investigate it with SIU, are we not? That is very labor intensive. The insurance industry cannot treat everyone like a fraudster. They would lose all of their customers and they would just go out of business because the time and effort that would take to investigate everyone would be impossible. So that tension between how fast you move through a process, the speed in which you process a claim, conduct your underwriting, etc., is always managed against the tension with how much rigor you put into vetting users, right? That inelastic tension requires a compromise for the carrier to say, I'm just going to accept X% of fraud, and it's going to go through my system, and you have to accept. Then the customers are paying more in their premiums, and everyone's losing. What we do is we break that tension, and without compromise, allow an automated questionnaire to eject, fast track, keep it through a system where speed becomes your rigor. And now you have a smaller subset of folks that can be walked through a responsible process using AI and other means, ultimately tethered to a human who's making that decision.
Which character do you identify with most in insurance? Alice for her curiosity, the White Rabbit for speed, or Cheshire Cat for strategy?
It's a great question. First of all, I love curiosity. I love Alice. I think being curious is so important when you're an innovator and you're around these great leaders and thought leaders. I think that's really important. Speed obviously is part of the name, it's part of what we do. We trust faster, so that's very important. But I think Cheshire Cat, because strategy needs to incorporate curiosity, speed and efficiencies, and thinking beyond deception and fraud, thinking about trust, thinking about new ways of doing business. And Clearspeed is here to be a leader in the trust market. We're defining this category. We are welcoming all the other great technologies in the ecosystem that we need to partner with to bring our customers the best value we can. But for sure, it's Cheshire Cat. Because without strategy, the tactics don't matter.
I love that answer. Yeah, it sort of encompasses all of them. And then the last question is just, what's your version of the white rabbit in insurance? What's an opportunity you're chasing that others might be missing?
Another great question. We think about going down the rabbit hole. So one rabbit hole we were brought down, one rabbit hole we went down and learned. So the first rabbit hole was the industry started us in the fraud. They said, this is another fraud solution. We made the claims that were actually a first notice of loss or a first touch actually at the top of any funnel. But we went down that rabbit hole because the customers wanted us to. They wanted to prove with rigor that we identified the fraud they found, that we identified the clears they found, and that we've alerted to new risks that they would miss without us. Once we went down that rabbit hole, we very quickly climbed up to the top of the funnel, and that's where we exist to help fraud solutions. Well, we're actually, again, shifting that paradigm to allow fraud solutions to work more efficient. The second rabbit hole that was an eye-opener for me was we had a great customer, brilliant man, Scott Clayton, who said, I bet you think that your defense and security customers are buying Clearspeed for security. I said, yes. He said, you're wrong. And he said, I bet you think your insurance customers are buying the new for insurance. So, yes, he said, you're wrong. He said, your defense and security customers buy you for insurance. They're in hard places, doing hard things. They need to underwrite risk, buy down risk, have movement. They're buying an insurance product. We in the insurance industry are buying you for security. We protect our brand, we protect our bottom line, we protect our customers. So that was a rabbit hole that I never thought we'd go down, and it was fascinating to see how this shift in paradigm was told to us by the customers and the value we bring.
The second annual Risky Future Summit is available on demand. The go-to virtual event built for today's risk managers. This virtual summit will include expert discussion on transportation, commercial auto, climate change, cybersecurity, nuclear verdicts, and more. Unlock your potential with lessons from the best in the business. This exclusive event is hosted by Elizabeth Blosfield, Chad Hemingway, Andrea Wells, Alan Lehman, and Ezra Amaker. Visit riskyfuture.com to view the on-demand videos.
Insurance professionals work hard every day to keep people safe. But as technology transforms the industry, how can insurers protect not only their clients, but also shield themselves from ever-changing cyber risks? My name is Elizabeth Blosfield, and I'm the host of the Insuring Cyber podcast, a monthly look into how the world of cyber and the business of insurance are connected.